Holy flying robot Pegasus, Batman! Tiki here, and I've been watching through each and every episode of Batman Beyond for the first time. Dragon, tell them why we're here.
Well, you see, folks, long ago, I made a vow to educate Tiki in the ways of Batman the Animated Series, serving as a spirit guide to Gotham in a way, but that was the past, and we must now enter the Batman's future.
And holster up those 6-shooters because we've got a wild Western tale on our hands. A weird Western tale in particular. We're talking the Once and Future Thing, Part 1, Weird Western Tales. All right. So yeah, Dragon, I mean, this is it's pretty delightful. I think this episode very much leans into my sensibilities with like the the Silver Age weirdness of it all. It very much lives up to the title of being a very weird episode. And I really like the time travel involved. Definitely a part 1, and it's kind of funny because I was almost kind of halfway considering messaging you like, are we sure we want to call this Batcave Beyond, considering that Terry doesn't pop up until the very end? But you know what? It's fine. It's fine. I don't want to muddy the waters up too much.
Well, you'll notice I actually did a combination in the title. See, it says Batcave Beyond, but the font for the rest of it is the Justice League font. It's the JLU font.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
All right. Kokias says it's a missed opportunity that Bruce wasn't reminded of Two-Face when he saw Jonah Hex. I was kind of thinking some Two-Face vibes as well. Because it's a cowboy episode, Vigilante should have been one of the heroes that traveled to the past. Perhaps. All right, Dragon. So, let's set the stage here. I really like this. I'm very excited to get to the second part of this. But give us some context.
Yeah, so this was directed by the great Dan Reba, who brought us episodes in terms of how they correlate to this one. Did Star-Crossed, I believe part 2 of Star-Crossed, Wild Cards, part 2, and
Wild Card!
Yeah, Wild Card!
Yeah,
look at that crazy Luigi. Look at him.
Oh, God.
Anyway, yeah, so Star-Crossed, Wild Cards, part 2, and Blackout, which is one of my favorite Batman Beyond episodes. So Dan Reba's got a good pedigree with this sort of stuff, especially for our big events that kind of feature Batman and also Green Lantern.
Mm-hmm.
The writer on this, we had a top shelf writer on this. We had the wonderful and dearly missed Dwayne McDuffie.
Yeah.
Dwayne McDuffie, of course, prolific writer. He's done a whole bunch of stuff. Creator of the character Static, but also, in terms of how things relate to here. With Justice League, he did JLU. He did Doomsday Sanction, which is a great episode, which features Batman very heavily. Wild Cards, which of course ends very memorably with the first kiss between Green Lantern and Hawkgirl, and also Star-Crossed. That's McDuffie's baby. Star-Crossed was essentially would have been the end of Justice League had they not been picked up for JLU.
Star-Crossed is very much, when you watch it, it feels like, okay, this is the end game. Doesn't get much bigger than this.
And again, see like the end of Batman Beyond, see the end of Justice League. It's like we learned our lesson on Batman Beyond. We want to end big.
Right, exactly.
All right, so the studio that worked on this, it was not Coco.
Ah.
You know who it was, though?
Was it Don Yang?
Yes!
Oh.
But
really?
Tiki,
We're back to original Don Yang.
Yes, it was all Don Yang. That's the thing. So basically,
I feel like this is like a Coca-Cola classic moment for us, Dragon.
No, you're absolutely right. That's the thing. So
we're
Don
back to
Yang,
the original formula.
if memory serves, the way it worked was Don Yang. They basically after I want to say after season 3 of Batman the Animated Series, basically the whole Batman New Adventures, Batman Robin, the Batman Robin Adventures era.
Mm-hmm.
basically Dong Yang was kind of like, I'm not going to say retired, but they were very much kind of like on reserve, and they were very much kind of like on the they were always like kind of like not so much leading the charge, but they were kind of featured, and that's why they were paired with Coco and other animation studios. They would be paired and kind of like pick essentially showing them the ropes, and then Coco basically kind of led the charge from there. And that's
Sure.
all. So basically, Dong Yang they assisted Coco on all the Batman Beyond episodes. Batman Beyond the show essentially was yeah. Anyway, they also, but again, for JLU, if memory serves, they did a few episodes. The episodes of JLU that they did do, again, Dong Yang did a few of them solo, and one of those being Doomsday Sanction, and yeah, there you go.
All right.
Okay, so basically, Justice League. Basically, Justice League had taken a stab at a time travel story before. It was the end of season one with the Savage Time, and they kind of figured let's revisit the well and just kind of really make it like a big event because Savage Time was them testing the waters. Like, okay, we have an immortal foe that is not Ra's al Ghul. We could, in theory, go back and basically do kind of basically that was their love when they did the time travel adventure, they do it as like a love letter to an era in DC Comics. Now we've done this kind of twice before this, so you do it officially with time travel in a Savage Time, and that's essentially a love letter to World War II era DC, which basically we can't say Nazis, but we can essentially imply heavily that they are Nazis.
Right.
And then there's the Justice Guild episode, which again is kind of that's not directly time travel. They thought it was time travel, but we revealed it was basically the hallucination of this kind of irradiated monster of a character. It's basically this irradiated supervillain. Anyway, so yeah, so basically this is them taking another bite at the apple with time travel. In this case, as we'll see in this part and the next part, we're kind of like for this one specifically, it's kind of a love letter to the Western era of DC, which coincidentally, their main flagship title was Weird Western Tales.
Oh, okay. Nice, nice.
They did agonize over the title though. And Weird Western Tales. I want to say Weird Western Tales is always going to be included as like that's with the subtitle part of it, but once in future thing, they kind of workshopped that a lot until they kind of landed on that. Like a lot of time puns kind of before Weird Western Tales.
It's
so
about time.
Yep.
Yeah, Weird Western Tales just really rolls off the tongue, though. That's an amazing title.
Now, something special about this episode too is JLU never did two-parters. This is the only two-parter.
Oh, interesting.
Well, now, mind you, when they did Justice League, all those episodes were two parts only because they
that's why
weren't
I think
allowed.
It's interesting because just it's a pretty sharp contrast there.
Well, that's the thing, with the exception of Starcrossed and Savage Time, which were like the season finales, which were in three parts. With the exception of those two, all the Justice League episodes, not counting Comfort and Joy, Christmas episode, were two-parters because the network wouldn't give them the full hour. They had to break it up. But those, which the way we covered them, by the way, we covered them all as one episode because that's how it was intended to be.
Mm-hmm.
So this one specifically definitely was kind of broken in two parts. There's very much two acts to the story. So so this was kind of an event because what Justice League Unlimited did was they experimented with the serialized narrative where we throughout the season we were kind of building towards kind of a big payoff. So we had episodes that kind of were unofficially like part 1 and part 2, but it kind of wasn't just limited to 2. Like it would be like part 3, part 4, all building to the Cadmus story, or building to like the Dark Side revival story, and there's a lot there. Anyway, also the first time the DCAU has tackled the Old West since Showdown from the third season of Batman the Animated Series, which introduced Jonah Hex.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
The older Jonah Hex, the Jonah Hex kind of like towards the end.
Well, I think that's another fun thing with this episode is that we have a younger Jonah Hex, we have an older Static who pops up, who we've seen before. It's very much kind of like the it very much feels like just a big time travel event. It feels like something that the MCU would do. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, and again, MCU, they're leather building blocks similar to the DCU. The DCU kind of beat them to the punch, and they basically brought that to the screen. That's why the Avengers got all the credit.
Okay. All right. So is that about it for the setup?
Let's do it.
All right. Well, we start. This episode goes in a lot of crazy places, but it starts in a very mundane but very relatable setting with marriage troubles.
A troubled marriage.
Oh
Where did it go wrong?
God.
So setting wise, this is post Batman Beyond season 3. We're in the 2040s, probably. I want to say probably 2044, maybe. Between 2044 and 2047 would be my guess. Anyway, just given 3 years of Batman Beyond, I think we start in 44, so it's give or take 3 years. Anyway, so again, basically this being like, as we're going to see later, this is Terry McGinnis in kind of like the Justice League era of his Batman career. So that's basically post season 3.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, anyway, again with the world building of Batman Beyond, where again the way if you ever look at it, it's again the lower you are to the ground is kind of the lower in status you are. So again, like these guys seem to have kind of a ground level, which is not a bad place, but just kind of like comparatively. We have
Very
the
much gives
Clinton.
me like a Coruscant vibe.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, there's very much Coruscant vibe
Uh-huh.
there. So we have the level kind of the lower level suburbs with Enid Clinton, voiced by the wonderful Mindy Sterling, who was Lin Beifong from Legend of Korra,
Mm-hmm.
and Frau from Austin Powers.
Oh God.
Anyway, so Ian, so again, just given her like we had like this the hilarious kind of female, kind of comedic actor just doing this loudmouth nagging wife. It's just like it's perfect casting.
Just look at this mess. And I
Look
love
at
how
this
it said she has no problem with the fact that her husband is like, like a high profile robber of museums, right?
Yeah,
But she's got a problem with the fact that he's a fucking loser and that he can't keep his stuff organized.
yeah. So Enid here, she's nagging her husband David Clinton here in the garage. We reveal that essentially David here he's a time thief. He's a timid time thief. However, and this is great. And I love this with the characters that here's in Kronos. He's a very campy looking character in the comics.
I love his design, I really do.
And it gets even better because I'll tease this up for you. We give him a new costume. It's even more comic accurate in the second part. But still, part one. This is a great.
I love the fun thing about him though in this episode is that he's got a couple different iterations.
Yeah.
He's a really fun character for sure.
I love that he has like even his suit in this more practical like kind of beta phase of it. It's still very on the money for this is how you would do like a cool kind of practical version of it. It's essentially a cat suit with with the belt, which does make him look like the guy. Anyway, so importantly though with the arc of this character, he's very Sid the Squid-esque. He's a smart time thief. He's not like stealing like anything that would be missed or anything valuable or anything that would like, give him like serious jail time. He's just stealing like the behind the scenes like unwanted things like discarded combs of Cleopatra and like an early draft of the Magna Carta. Of course, folks, to remember the Magna Carta, there's 1216, and then that's 1 year after Magna Carta.
And that's enough. I mean, this episode is like filled with like really fun kind of like time travel ideas that you don't really see all that. Like, it's definitely got some time travel cliches. It plays around with that, but also I just really love the idea of a small time travel thief who like is stealing all this stuff that isn't going to be missed, but has a lot of like historical value to him.
But again, he doesn't start off as a bad guy. He's just a historical collector. Like he's not doing any of this to get rich or anything. So he's kind of a moral guy, respect for the timeline. And his wife here, also Peter Magnical doing the voice very memorably. Peter Magnical, of course, known for a variety of roles. I mean, Doc Ock in Spectacular Spider-Man, big one is Janusz in Ghostbusters 2.
Oh God.
Anyway, great actor, and I believe another David, if memory serves, from Mr. Bean.
Oh jeez.
God, do you remember that Bean movie?
You know what? I saw Mr. Bean's Holiday. I never actually saw the original.
Yeah, I mean, just for nostalgia's sake. I mean, yeah, well, I know you wouldn't have nostalgia for, but I was saying just for '90s, just to feel like being in the '90s, that would be,
So
anyway.
I hated Mr. Bean's Holiday, but I feel like I did not give it a fair shake, and I'd probably like it better if I watched it now.
I
I
think it
was
ends
very much
really.
an edgy teenager when I saw it.
Oh, you
Anyway,
were that. Oh, you were that era of Tiki,
yeah, I was that era of Tiki.
and I
Yeah.
hate that. I hate that era of Tiki.
God.
God. Anyway, but yeah, I love the ending of the Mr. Bean's Holiday. I thought it all ended rather nicely. Anyway, so point being, he's getting yelled at by his wife. The whole, like, you're a loser. I should have married that lawyer.
Oh, God.
We basically learned this guy's a physics professor who basically discovered time travel, and the university thought it was nuts, and he actually discovered. And she's like, "That's the valuable stuff. No, we can't abuse the time. We can't abuse the timeline. Like I should have married a real man, like a lawyer. And then we have the Tiki. I want you to make a mental note of this one.
All right.
You worthless, good for nothing, waste of space."
Worthless, good for nothing, waste of space. Okay.
Well, it's the whole rant here that makes him leave. Just this whole worthless, good for nothing, wretched waste of space.
All
You
right.
invent a time machine and can't think of anything useful to do with it.
God, I love the delivery there.
Oh,
It's so exaggerated, like just I mean, of course, the nagging wife is a bit of a stereotype, but it's just they're having a lot of fun with it.
well, I mean, you don't blame him for fleeing through time, though.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
a good bar.
I love that. I love that whole idea. It's like, screw this noise. I'm getting out of here.
But that's the thing. It's a great mic drop moment for him. Like he's
Right.
not doing something horrible to his wife. He's just you know what? You're so horrible. I'm gonna go to any error in space and time to get away from you.
Oh man.
I can think of one thing to get away from you. And he leaves. And how great is the time travel effect? Like
I
the
mean,
whole
that is kind of like the ultimate. Like, yeah, you are a bad spouse.
mm-hmm.
Things are not okay in this marriage.
No, how's the time travel effect look to you when we go through the rip in space and time?
Oh, I really like it. I really like the my favorite element of it is when the Justice League goes through and they kind of bounce off the walls of it. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? I like that we make the rip like kind of like a physical space.
yeah.
Mhm.
All right, let's see. So here, this is always my favorite part of part one. Here, we go to the Watchtower. We're in the commissary of the Watchtower now. Okay, so set continuity wise, this is post the return of Shire. So Star-Crossed ends. She goes her separate ways with Justice League and Justice League Unlimited. A few episodes before this, we brought her back, and not everyone trusts her, but some people are happy to see her. Some
No,
people are
why wouldn't
conflicted.
they trust her?
So Wonder Woman, very much anti Shira, and Green Lantern. He's got conflicting feelings there because he loves her, but she really hurt him bad, and time has passed, and he kind of moved on. He's my favorite delivery from Phil Lamar. God, I love it. Is when he, I'm with Vixen now. Like a moment of pause. I'm very happy. I love the way he says. I'm not joking. One of my favorite Phil Lamar deliveries is Green Lantern in its entirety. I love the way he says, "I'm very happy."
I'm very happy.
I don't know. It's funny. Anyway, of course, Batman's like, So just this whole idea of like this mundane, like Batman and Green Lantern just having lunch together, and just kind of.
There's a bunch of other just rando Justice League members just hanging out.
Oh, that's a constant with JLU because JLU they have 52 characters and they have to have them like hanging around the JLU satellite, so they're always like in the background. It's kind of fun.
But then every so often it'll be like, "Hey, you get to be in this episode."
Yeah, it's like exactly that's exactly how it goes.
Right.
Like you have like, oh look, there's Elongated Man, there's Stripe, there's Commander Steel, or Stargirl. Anyway. So yeah, but this is kind of nice. There's them kind of commiserating here and then talking about their love lives. So again, shifts the Batman. We get a little bit of Wonder Bat going on here. It's what the kids call the ship. But yeah, this is great here. Like we're always talking about my love life. What about you and Diana? There's nothing going on with me and me and Diana. She's a respected colleague. She's like, look, I don't have time to. Again, is Batman getting real with GL here? Just saying, look, I don't have time for a relationship. My work's too important for distractions. She's a remarkable woman. She's a valued friend. She's standing right behind me, isn't she?
The standing right behind me isn't she thing is like maybe the most like overdone cliche in the book, but you know what? It's so good here. Just to see it done to Batman, the expert of sneaking up on people, is priceless.
But that's the thing; it shows. Oh, Wonder Woman makes him flustered.
right.
Then again, their dynamic too. Just like I was a huge proponent of the Batman Wonder Woman relationship. I really think they're kind of made for each other. It's this whole thing, like, don't let that stop you. Keep digging. It's like, oh, she likes hearing Batman.
I mean, it's definitely better than the other canon Batman relationship in this universe.
Yeah. Anyway, so the intruder alert goes off. Kronos here, David Clinton. He's stealing one of Batman's spare or older utility belts, and they catch him. You're not supposed to see me! And he flees, and they pursue him, and they get mad, like Tiki said earlier. They're bouncing on the walls and everything. Which I like to think, again, per what happens, even though he had a few seconds head start, I think that additionally gave him, like, that's what turned it in the 6 months, like them bouncing on the walls. Anyway, so
for
they
sure.
end
and
up.
I really do like that idea of just like the few seconds. It's very much like a Nolanized kind of concept of time travel in a way.
Oh yeah. Anyway, so they go through this hole in time. They end up in the Old West, and this is kind of funny. We actually recycled completely this Batman line from the Static crossover that we just talked about. It's not where's not the question; it's when.
Oh my god, you're right. That is just totally lifted. Yeah, that's funny.
It's like, Batman, where'd he go? Not where, when. Okay, anyway, so let's see. So we have these outlaws attempting to rob what they think are circus folk, and we learn that we're in Elkhorn, Oklahoma. Wonder Woman, she's deflecting some big slow bullets when lassoing the bad guys, which is a lot of fun. Wonder Woman in the Old West. If we got one positive thing, from the well, I'm sorry, not one positive. I was going to throw some shade at the new Crisis animated movie, but let's just say the build up to that was War World, which one of the good things we had was Wonder Woman in the Old West. That was a lot of fun. So Wonder Woman in the Old West just kind of fits. I don't know why. It's kind of cool.
Well, I feel like Wonder Woman's the type of character where like you could pretty much slot her into any time and she would pretty much fit. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, we saw her in World War I.
She's very
We've seen her in the
universal.
Oh yeah, for sure.
All
right. So anyway, so we do the whole Back to the Future newspaper homage. Where Batman grabs the newspapers, is like, oh no, this is where we're at right now. Yep. So we're way back in time during the Old West. Green Lantern, this is a fun runner, and again, based on the Savage Time thing of season 1, because Green Lantern is a Marine. He had to be thrown back into the Marines in World War II, so he really doesn't like time travel. It's like, this is happening to him again. Like, I really hate time travel. Let's see. They all dress like cowboys, except Green Lantern, because he doesn't like the smell of them, so he uses the ring to create some cool cowboy garb. Let's see. Again, I love me some cowboy Batman. Seeing Bruce. This is like the fourth time.
Such a great design. The black hat.
Yeah, the black hat looks good on him. So interestingly, this is the fourth time in the whole series between Justice League and Justice League Unlimited. Period. We've seen Bruce Wayne. It's like we had twice in Justice League and twice in JLU, and this is the second time.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
We do.
Again, we saw the in the Star Crossed. It was a big moment.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm sure we've already gone over it, but how great is that moment in Starcrossed where he's like, Wally West, John Stewart, Bruce Wayne, Clark Kent. Done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyways.
I think one of the funniest things is when he's really ticked off at the Flash. That's not helping. Anyway. So, okay, so point being, our guys are now in cowboy garb. They're heading into town, and we see. Let's see.
We got
We have the gun bit. We got to talk about the gun bit.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, it's a really great moment where Green Lantern offers Batman some pistols. No one's gonna be scared of those empty holsters. You sure you don't want one? Positive. Let's ride.
Mm.
Yeah.
You know what? There's a couple really good, like, subtle bits with Batman in this episode. There's a really good, like, we'll get to it, but it's kind of like an acknowledgement of his no killing rule, and it's just a moment. It's just a beat, but it works really well.
Oh yeah.
All
right. So we're in a saloon, and we see Batlash, and Batlash is a classic character. He's very much modeled after the Maverick character. Batlash. Basically, he gets into he's gambling with Tobias Manning, and he wins. And Tobias he's a sore loser, one might call him.
right.
And he pulls out this futuristic literal 6-shooter, which is really cool, by the way. Like the extra dimensional like 6-shooter. Basically, all the barrels are extra guns on the one gun.
Mm-hmm.
So he's a big jerk, and since he ran the sheriff out of town, became like the de facto sheriff. He's just a big jerk. Not only just taking the guy's money, it's like take his money, hang him at dawn. You're in my town. It's like, oh man, what a big fat jerk that Tobias is. So Wonder Woman, she's fed up with this, with the whole like let's do the research here. Despite Batman's mission focus here, it's like Batman does make a point here, like, look, we're trying to save the timeline here. Again, we can't get bogged down with like saving a card shark here. We're going to be gone by morning anyway, so he does have kind of an ethical point there, where it's like, well, I mean, look, we're on a time-sensitive mission. We got to find this guy. I mean, yes, he'll be hung by dawn, but for all we know, that's kind of how history's supposed to go,
Right, exactly.
But this is nice, though. Wonder Woman, she has Batman's number. Then it's settled. We break him out before by sundown. This Green Lantern's just chuckling. Oh, she has your number, Batman. Just him giving them the bat glare, like, hey.
That would have been a fun thumbnail. Just John smirk and Bruce just looking at him.
I was tempted, but look, here's the problem with this thumbnail is that, one, he's not in the bat suit, which already makes it a little difficult. But secondly, it's just the fact that all of our great cowboys.
He's not in the bat suit the whole episode, though. So it's like, what are you
I know
that's
what I'm saying. Look, I love all the cowboy Bruce Wayne stuff, but a lot of it's just going to play a little weird out of context. If I just have him on the horse, it's like, what does that tell us about the episode? If I just have him like with John Stewart in the saloon, it's just going to be like, I don't know. Anyway.
No, you're right. Out of context, it's not that funny. Anyways.
All right, so how do you feel about Batlash anyway? You like this guy?
Oh yeah, I like him all right. I feel like he's the type of character where like I almost kind of feel like he could kind of carry his own like Western show. Like I almost feel like we didn't really get a lot of him to really like he seems like a very big character, and I kind of feel like there's a lot more we could potentially mine from him.
Let me put it to you this way. It's going to be a weird comparison, but if Jonah Hex is kind of like the Old West Batman, Batlash feels like the Old West Superman to a degree.
Which is funny given the bat of it all, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, again, short for Bartholomew.
No, I know, but, the writers, they knew what they were doing.
yeah, they did. Anyway, but seriously, though, it's really... yeah, you're right. He is very much like between him and Jonah Hex, they are like the go-to like Western DC characters. Like Batlash is like the lighthearted, like he's the Joker of the bunch. But he's the lighthearted one of the bunch.
Also, apparently, we almost got Nick Cage Ghost Rider in Deadpool.
I heard about that. Yes.
Yeah, that would have. It's kind of a shame that didn't materialize.
It shocks me that Nicolas Cage would just say, yeah, sure. Because he says that to everything.
Dude, I know, right? Come on now. That's going to be the thing that Nicolas Cage says no to.
Like, really? You did a
It's
sequel to
okay,
that
Dragon.
movie.
He had to do a freaking Marilyn Monroe impression in Long Legs because he's crazy.
Just the
And
fact that
it's
like
so fucking terrifying. All right, I'm sorry. I get freaking aggressive when it comes to long legs. I'm sorry, that was uncalled for.
it is the fact that like Cage, he did a sequel to Ghost Rider, so I mean, he's already bit the bullet on that. It's like okay, I'm Ghost Rider, I get it. Anyway, okay. Point being, we have Batlash and David Clinton. They're cellmates. We have Green Lantern scaring off the guard with a Scooby Doo tactic with the Green Lantern ring, which is priceless. Batlash, he has this is a thing with his character. He's got business to conclude before he leaves town. Like he has an opportunity just to run for his life and get out of town. But it's like no, that guy didn't best me in cards with honor. I'm gonna settle that score. So they all claim to be lawmen essentially, and they want to help. We meet David Clinton, and we learn that he arrived 6 months prior because he had the head start and everything. And he was robbed by Tobias Manning, who then took over using all the future tech and using the device and keeps Clinton around to show him how it works. So he just wants to go home. At least he claims he just wants to go home and he'll gladly take his punishment and everything. So they break everyone out. They're on the run, and then we learn, oh god, he's outfitted the place with security cameras. They're about to have company, and they have like Tobias Manning's posse, like shooting up the place in a big old firefight.
So again, I really love the idea of the like a Wild West bad guy, like stealing modern technology and using it to take advantage of the situation. That's just a really fun premise.
Oh, for sure, yeah. Admittedly, one gripe I do have with the episode, we don't have it right now. This second, it's going to come up a little in a bit, but all the I guess we're about to get it soon. Just the all the dinosaurs and the Pegasus and everything is them being just robotic versus the actual genuine deal. It's a practical reason we're doing that for disposal later in the episode, because if they're real, then we'd have to return them to their timeline.
Yeah, like
we don't have the time
for the
that.
Pegasus, I totally get it because, well, also with the Pegasus is like a mythological creature, so like I get that. The dinosaur, it would have been fun to see.
Yeah, right. Well, still, the fact like we can't just like drop the dinosaurs off. We gotta do something with them. So the only way we can clean them up is if they're destroyed robots or something.
Right.
Anyway, so we have this
I
great.
don't know. I think I'm kind of with you that I think it would have been fun to be like, okay, dinosaurs exist in the Wild West in this timeline now, and that's just something they got to unpack.
Yeah, it would have been funny.
Right.
All right, so Batman has this great moment without his guns. He gets into kind of a Clint Eastwood moment here, where he's like, go ahead, give me an excuse," and he shows him like the utility belt. The guy's like unfazed, and then Batman just grabs the gun out of the guy's hand and punches him real hard.
Fair to say that it's probably the great Conroy moment.
I think the great Conroy moment's later on, but that is a contender, though. If you like it, I love it too. But the later one, to me, is a full-on great Conroy.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough.
Anyway, so then the Western backup arrives. We have all the other DC Western characters, a few of which have familiar voices. Mm-hmm. Let's see. So we have I'm always butchering this guy's name, but here's the thing: he had a very culturally inappropriate name, which we kind of referenced later in the episode, but his proper name.
Yeah.
Oaisha
I'm
Smith.
warning you, you better not call me that slur again.
Yeah, so Oaisha Smith he's the former sheriff. He's our Native American Western character who in the comics was called Powwow.
I think the racist name is like Pow Pow or something.
It's Powwow. He's Native American, being the
Pow
gay.
Wow.
So
there we go. Yeah. Oh man, that's that is some cringe.
But again, we had found a witty way of
old-fashioned, outdated racism right there.
Well, it's nice though. We found a way to kind of like reference it and kind of say like, hey, he's not thrilled with that name. Don't call him that. Let's see now. El Diablo. Did you recognize the voice of El Diablo, Tiki?
No, I did not.
You're gonna love this.
Oh god.
Nestor Carbonell.
Oh god, really? Oh,
Yep.
By the way, Dragon, I forgot to mention this, but Hunchback 2, terrible movie, right? But
Mm-hmm.
do you know the guy who did the voice of the villain in that movie?
Yeah, I believe it was Michael McKean, wasn't
Yes, it was Michael McKean.
it?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, it was our boy.
He doesn't exactly redeem it by any means, but
No,
like,
no,
yeah,
no.
he's there. He's definitely the most entertaining part of the movie. I can
Look,
say that
look,
much for his
McKean,
office.
even in a bad movie, like look at. I know you haven't seen this, but Short Circuit too. Michael McKean does some really good acting in that movie.
Oh,
Like, here's the thing: like the moment you saw it in the review, at least, Johnny Five's like dying on the curb. Michael McKean is tasked with like piecing him back together. It's an emotion. He was like the scumbag of the movie, and he's actually redeemed himself in that moment. It's great.
oh.
Anyway, so we got El Diablo, just really cool, very kind of very Batman-esque in aesthetic, very
El
Batman.
Diablo, the vibe I get is essentially like DC wanted to do Zorro, but they
Mm-hmm.
didn't have the rights to Zorro.
Uh-huh.
So hey, let's just kind of do
So
Zorro.
that's the thing. It's very Zorro. It's very Zorro inspired, which fits with Batman.
Right.
Let's see. Then, of course, we have Jonah Hex, who's played by the wonderful Adam Baldwin, who's done a number of voices throughout the DC universe as well as other places. Like he was Superman in Superman Doomsday, the first attempt at the Superman Death of Superman story in animation. And he's Casey from Chuck, the show Chuck.
Mhm.
Anyway, point being, Adam Baldwin's a pretty cool guy. Not related to
That
the
Zachary
Baldwin.
Levi, man, he's oh boy, he's really fallen off there, Dragon.
Yeah, well, I mean, look. I love Zach Levi. By the same token, he should have known what he was signing on for with the Purple Crayon movie. Okay, he knew what he was getting.
But I'm saying, like, some of the dude just does not. Dragon, he is terrible when it comes to taking criticism, man. Like between the Purple Crayon and Shazam 2, like he has not done himself any favors with how he's talked about it.
Yeah, it's a shame.
And I'm not saying that I'd be any better, but that's why I never want this channel to go beyond 5,000 subs. Max. Once this channel hits 5,000 subs, we're nuking it, folks. Anyways.
Anyway,
you think I'm joking, but I'm dead fucking serious.
well, when you say nuke, that's what concerns me.
I mean, the channel will cease to exist.
God, that's depressing.
Dragon, I do not want to run a successful YouTube channel. You know what? At that point, I will retire and let you and Jacob take over if you really want me to not destroy it.
Well, I don't know. It just feels kind of weird to get to that point, and we're gonna blow it up with success.
Yeah, that's how much I don't want to be YouTube famous, Dragon. I'm dead fucking serious about this.
Well, no. Here's what you do. Okay, you keep it going, but you can relax it up a little bit. Just like we're in wood fire pizza mode. We did it. We don't need to. We don't. We've achieved the heights. We're just gonna keep it casual, do what we like, and whether we get viewers or not, as long as we don't dip under 5,000, we're good.
I mean, if this isn't proof that I'm not doing this for money, I don't know what is. Anyways.
Anyway.
By the way, today's episode is brought to you by Magic Spoon. No,
we wish. Yep.
Get yours today. It tastes just like cardboard.
Wait, really?
Apparently, that's what I've heard.
Wow. No, I was wondering if you actually tried it firsthand.
No, I'm not. But apparently, you can get it at Walmart or something, and people have not been impressed.
Okay.
You know what I will subscribe to, though, Dragon? This is not a sponsorship, but I have used I use Dollar Shave Club. They make really good razors.
Okay, you know who I wish our sponsor was? Audible. I would love it if we were sponsored by Audible.
Audible?
Yeah, that'd be the high of highs right there if we were sponsored by Audible.
What? I don't like the one issue I have with Audible is you know what? It's a tangent. We don't have to get into it.
So anyways, Batman has this cool moment there. We have the Western backup arriving. Again, Jonah Hex, the younger Jonah Hex, again pre the Showdown episode of Batman the Animated Series. So they're all there. They non-lethally stop. They non-lethally stop the bad guys. So again, a little conveniently, thank goodness.
We do mention that basically the whole or I'm sorry, are we getting? I might have Dragon. I just want to make sure that I don't pass this up, but we get the moment where, all right, we got to go after him. What's the plan? What do you mean plan? We put him in the ground, and then we just linger on Batman for a moment, just a moment. He doesn't say anything. We just linger on him. I love that.
That is a good moment. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that comes like a minute later, but all we need to know is like, oh wait,
I just want to make sure we didn't pass it up because it's
no,
a quick
no.
moment, but I wanted to highlight it.
Anyway, so of course we had some fun dialogue too, like Jonah Hex, but like, well, cheats at pokers. I could have told you that. So anyway, so we flash back to Aisha Smith here. Basically, he tells us he fills in the blanks. What happened 6 months ago? Tobias returned after ran him out of town for the umpteenth time, only this time with future tech, and he beat him within an inch of his life, and ran him out of town. And then he assembled his awesome Western posse here. You know, the weird Western Tales bunch.
Essentially, we have a magnificent six situation on our hands here. Essentially,
yes. I mean, I think the man. Well, we ultimately end up with 6, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's see. So point being, Wonder Woman proposes a team up. That look, Tobias, the thing gave Tobias power. This guy knows how to use it. So basically, he stole the weapon from this guy. We need to get it back so we can get him and undo all the damage that he's done. Let's work together. And we have our Western Justice League shot, which is essentially the whole Magnificent Seven kind of walk. Plus, we have like the theme playing, the Justice League theme playing, but it's all old Westy.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, this is a lovely moment too. By the way, this great moment here, and this is very true to the comics too, where Jonah Hex asks, like, while they're riding to Tobias, like, "Are you? Nice fancy belt you got there. Are you time travelers by chance?" And then Batman's like, "Where would you get a crazy idea like that? Experience. I've had an interesting life."
So, yeah, I love that wording. Yeah.
So that's the thing. So Jonah Hex, the gag with Jonah Hex is in the comics. He's had his like sci-fi adventures in the old west, like time traveling and stuff. Like he's done a lot of like the old wacky stuff. Finds him in the old west at times. So him saying that means like, yeah, he's
You
been
know what's
around.
a shame, Dragon?
What?
I think it's a shame that Josh Brolin really was the perfect casting for Jonah Hex. It was just a shit movie.
Yeah, but there was the original Jonah Hex actor might have been really good too, though.
Who was the original?
Thomas Jane.
Oh man, I don't. You know what? I'm not really all that familiar with what he's done outside of the Punisher, but yeah, he could have been good.
Now here's the thing: you have a sample of what he would have been like as Jonah Hex. They did. I don't know if I ever showed it to you. They did DC Showcase way back when. They did the shorts. They had a Jonah Hex short that Thomas Jane played. So the
I
idea
think
is
you
like,
did show me that. Yeah.
So right after basically when the Jonah Hex movie happened, they kind of gave him a bite at the apple with the animated short.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was really good. But Josh Brolin is a good cast. I'm just saying Thomas Jane, based on that short film, to me says, man,
I just think Josh Brolin just fits the vibe of the character so well.
He does. It's also funny that both he and Ryan Reynolds again have played DC characters, and then
regrettably, yeah.
Yep. But then they turned it around
in a Deadpool movie.
Then Josh Brolin, he kind of got 2 bites of the apple on that one.
I feel like people forget that Josh Brolin was Cable.
Yeah.
I feel like Thanos just overshadows that.
I feel bad for Josh Brolin because he really wanted to be in the 3rd Deadpool movie, and they didn't have room for him.
Well, you know what? To be fair, they barely had room for anybody. Like that's one of the nitpicks I do have with Deadpool and Wolverine is that it's a great MCU movie. I don't necessarily know if it's a great follow-up to Deadpool 1 and 2. Dragon, we didn't get into this, but like I really don't like what they did with Vanessa, just having them break up off screen. That it's just at a certain point, just write Vanessa out they've really just not done that poor woman any favors in the last 2 movies. Anyways,
look, I'm going to say on that we're going to move on. Is like I really do wish Dupinder had a bit like we can have a little bit more Dupinder in that opening.
But your boy Colossus has like one line.
Great British Bake Off. Hey, but look, he's there, and the implication is, he if we were to check in on Deadpool's new kind of living situation at the end, he might bond with another X character and might do an iconic move.
Mm.
You
At
know,
this point, I'm just kind of picturing Colossus as essentially Deadpool's Korg.
I mean, I think
He's
he's a
just
lot
hanging
more.
out. He's just there.
I mean, honestly, he's a lot cooler than Korg, but
No,
yeah,
he is cooler than Korg, yeah, but you know what I mean, though. Like, he's
yep.
just like the very domestic person in the group.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Anyway, okay, so it's a really good bit there and kind of a nod to Showdown. Like Showdown's kind of like the Clint Eastwood era of Jonah Hex, where he's like kind of towards the end of his life. And that's also the other thing with Jonah Hex. Jonah Hex does have a shelf life where he in the comics did die, and all the stuff is kind of set before that, you know. So anyway, okay, okay, they have this really funny gag where Oaisha Smith is like trying to warn Green Lantern and the bunch, like, okay, listen, you're gonna see some unusual stuff. He's like, oh, don't worry about us. Just then we have like pterodactyl. I'm sorry, you were saying? God bless Phil Lamar.
And Dragon, I don't know, man. I am such a fucking sucker for dinosaurs in the Old West. Like that to me is like most people love the cowboys versus aliens thing. I love dinosaurs in the Old West. I love it. I love it. I
Now,
can't get enough of that
how
aesthetic.
cool was it? We had a cowboy. Well, we'll get to it. Okay, let's actually put a pin in. We're almost there. Just gonna do it in 2 seconds. We're gonna talk about it. We have some robot sentries that John Hex is gunning down indiscriminately because against the robot rule, so long as they're robots, go nuts. Batman grapples onto it, and he slings some batarangs like a gunslinger, which is really cool. And then he shields himself with the robot corpse. And then we have this awesome like stranger than fiction image of a cowboy riding a velociraptor like a horse, charging towards the Batman. A cowboy Batman.
Yes.
Now tell me that's not the
Yeah.
coolest like
I mean,
dinosaur.
the whole
You
third
know.
act of this episode is just pretty delightful when it comes to the, like I said, the weird part of the equation.
Mm-hmm. All right. So let's see. So then we have this gag of like Batlash. He's like lifting cash off the knocked out goons, which is pretty funny. We have like a giant freaking tank. We have Wonder Woman El Diablo. They're kind of assisting in that matter. We got giant mechs. Green Lantern. He slices. We have the Sergio Leone moment with the Green Lantern. We then slices and dices like the one giant robot. So a lot of cool stuff like that going on there. Jonah Hex with a missile launcher. Anyway, so Tobias he calls Oaisha Smith powwow. He doesn't much like that. Then we have the showdown between those guys, and here's where we get the Great Conroy moment. So
Okay.
Tobias pulls out a 6-shooter, and then we have Kevin Conroy just nailing this line so perfectly. 6 guns, 6 of us, nobody miss, and they all draw their weapons. Like that is so cool.
All right, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. That is a cool moment.
It's like literally he says that, and he's basically giving the Avengers Assemble command for the Old West. It's like that's
Right.
pretty awesome. Anyway, so they
Oh,
all
he's gonna
disarm.
say it.
Almost, he almost. Anyway,
I will say, as an in theater reaction, that moment might have topped anything from No Way Home for me. Honestly,
really,
I think so, Dragon. Just because of how unexpected it was. Like I did not have that spoiled for me. I tried to. I know that they leaked a ton of stuff in the trailers. I don't know if that was spoiled or not, but I stayed far away from spoilers. I didn't even look at reviews, and you know me, I'm usually a review guy. So
it was like the moment I saw his face, I knew exactly what the joke was going to be because that was supposed to be in Deadpool 2.
oh, okay, yeah.
It's like because they didn't shoot it, they didn't like it as a lead scene. They were talking about it, but then they just kind of fell through. So it's like I figured like okay, if by some long shot he shows up, that's what we're gonna do with him. We gotta do that with him. And anyway, so let's see. Of course, I didn't see where it was going to go, and it being a running gag that I didn't see, but
Oh my
it's
god, post credit one of the best post credits that we've gotten in a while. Honestly.
Yep. Girl, you crazy. Anyway. So, okay, so they all, again, I love that you see them all fire on, like, the gun at the same time, too. It's really, you see the batarang, the Green Lantern blast. It's like, that's great. Okay, so, let's see. Okay, anyway, so now it's a fair fight between Tobias and Oaisha Smith. This great bit here where he's taking off in the Flying Pegasus. Green Lantern is about to help. Jonah Hex says, "Let him. Man needs to balance his own accounts." That's a great cowboy. It's a great Western kind of way of thinking there. So we have this battle in the robotic Pegasus.
And again, I feel like the robotic Pegasus is just like the peak of the weirdness with the episode.
Yep. So, by the way, animators hate drawing horses, so.
Oh, I know that. Yeah, I know that for sure.
They hate four-legged animals, but horses and pigs are always a pain. Occasionally, dogs. Like dogs seem to be the simple, the compromise. Dogs the compromise, but everything else though. Horses are always like, oh god, because they have to factor in the speed, and they have to aim it like a horse
Not
race.
to mention, it's kind of like a weird head shape too.
Yeah, and then of course, like, wait, it has wings? Are you nuts? We're battling with 4 legs, and you're giving it wings.
Granted, Disney got it down when it comes to animating horses, man. They are the masters of it.
Well, they have ears.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, these guys had less than 9 months.
At the end of Hunchback 2, speaking of Disney horses, freaking Achilles just randomly girl horse for Achilles dragon. Girl horse for Achilles. Well, she hasn't been set up at all the rest of the movie. She just magically gets conjured into existence at the very end.
Oh, that Achilles, such a heel. All right. Anyway, so he draws his knife. It's kind of knife versus kind of good old fashioned fist, and he wins out. Good on him. He got his revenge. Sheriff is back in town. GL disposes of all the future technology. It fires into the sun or something. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so then that's sneaky Kronos. That's sneaky Clinton. He zaps poor Batman with the belt and takes the opportunity to escape. Of course, he has that great line that Meg Nickel delivers, like, "Or maybe I'm lying."
I mean, really, in all honesty, I feel like the Justice League probably should have seen this coming a little bit more.
Well, honestly. Yeah, but again, that's the whole point of this character. You underestimate him like his wife did, like everyone does, and then that gives him the opportunity. It's like, he's just this guy can't go home without us, so
But I mean, like, what bad guy in the DC universe is just willingly going to be like, yeah, I accept my punishment, just bring me back and I'll go to jail?
That's true. I'd say Sid the Squid, but
Right.
Yeah, let's see. So, okay, so after that, so the portal opens, they all give chase, they fly through. This Batlash is having the last word. Huh. Okay, so then things get really good.
I think it would have been delightful if they were real dinosaurs and they just had to deal with that, and we just don't see the fallout.
I'm with you. I think it would have been cool, but you're right. Here's the thing. Tiki, here's the thing. Seriously, that would have fit with Jonah Hex. Like, had a few dinosaurs been around, like, you could have absolutely bought that in a Jonah Hex story. Anyway, so this is where things get really good. We are now in Neo Gotham, and now kind of a warped version of probably 2047, be my guess. We have the Return of the Joker crew of Jokers.
Mm-hmm.
We brought them back. That's kind of big. We never saw those guys since the movie. So this is, we brought that whole crew back, but we've modernized them even more. So we've cybernetically enhanced them. So we have, like, Wolf has, like, cybernetic arms. Bonk is alive, and we're going to see in the next episode how that was made possible. The DDs are there, and I won't spoil what happened with them, but let's just say we did something cool with them. We have Chucko. We have We have Ghoul and we have Chucko. Chucko is now has like this hovering ball for legs, which is really cool. Like the whole circus clown visage. I love what we did with Chucko.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so we've been expecting you, and against Michael Rosenbaum, they already had him. Here's the thing: it's easy to get Ghoul and give him all the speaking lines because they had Michael Rosenbaum as the Flash on that show, so they have his number.
Sure.
And of course, you do remember what Rosenbaum's doing with his voice, don't you?
Nah, remind me.
Walken. He's doing his Walken impression.
Oh my God, that's right. Yeah. Oh, right.
I've been expecting you. All right, so then the cavalry of the JLU Beyond shows up, and we have Terry McGinnis, Batman. We have Old Man Static, who's older than the last time we saw him. It looks pretty. Honestly, I think he looks better than the last time we saw him. I think Old Man Static's even cooler. Like this is Static, age 65.
Well, I feel like it's one of those things where like Static just has like he's just the type of guy that like looks cooler the older he gets. You know what I mean?
Well, he starts off as like roughly like probably a 14, 15-year-old kid to, it's like him, like, let's just say 15 for argument's sake, and this is about 4 decades later.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry, 5 decades later. Anyway, let's see. So then we have Warhawk. Very importantly, we have Warhawk. We remember Warhawk from The Call, don't we?
Sure. No, not really.
Oh, come on, man. Well, therefore, so when we did the Justice League Beyond, he was the one, with the metal wing. We faked his death at the end of the first part, remember? And he's alive. He's got an attitude.
Vaguely. Yeah, kind of.
Okay, well, I'm not saying he was deep. I'm just saying he had a cool look, which pays off in the scene that we're about to talk about. So, Green Lantern surprise, and I seriously love this cliffhanger so much. And not in terms of like, oh god, what's going to happen next, but just like the way it feels. I love how this cliffhanger
It's so soap opera-y.
I just love it. How great is this? We have Green Lantern who knows Static, and we've established that he knows Static. Just like, Static? What's going on? And then we have this epic moment. I love the score, and I just love how it feels, and I love the reaction on Jon Stewart. It's this whole moment, how he just complicates his love life. Warhawk looks over. He says, Dad? And just the look of shock and surprise on GL is like, oh my god, it's amazing. And we start out the episode very casually talking about his love life, and again, like, oh god, Warhawk's my son.
Someone's a proud papa.
Yeah, it's like, oh no, I just thought I broke things off the Shire. How does this happen? No. That's the episode.
I mean, yeah, I agree with you that I feel like the timing and the edit on it is just like it's really what makes it.
It's so, this is gonna sound so stupid, but I love it. It kind of gives you goosebumps just when you see like that the genuine human reaction of just like, what? It's just All right.
So yeah, final thoughts. I don't know. I really like it. Honestly, I'm excited for the next episode. Obviously, the next episode we're going to get into the actual like Batcave Beyond of it all. We're going to get into we're going to go into the Beyond section, Dragon.
Yeah, prepare for that.
But honestly, I don't know. I feel like next episode is going to have a hard time topping this, just because of how fun everything was in this episode. It was really it was really a delight to go through.
Oh yeah, I know there's one thing I'm really excited for you to see in the next episode. Well, actually, there's a lot of really cool stuff awaiting you in the next episode. Let's just say there's a lot more Batman stuff in the next episode.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this episode, it's like, we get a couple really good Batman bits, but he's kind of like on the sidelines a little bit.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, that's another thing too, is that I like that we limited and this is a thing JLU had to do constantly, because the whole roster thing where they upped the roster from like 7 characters to, to 52. So they kind of had to basically they had to separate them into teams for episodes. So here we kept it to basically 3, Wonder Woman, Batman, Green Lantern, which was a good move. Anyway, Look, I like part one. I do love kind of exploring the Old West, especially through the DCAU, and I love the Showdown episode of Batman the Animated Series. So it's always kind of great to see Batman actually interact with Jonah Hex versus being told the story by Ra's al Ghul.
Mm.
I mean, that's pretty cool. But yeah, this is great. And again, just rewatching, man, that ending, just oh my god, it's such a great like to be continued. Like yes, oh boy. But I tell you, man, I can't wait to talk about episode two.
All right, looking forward to it. Okay, so yeah, thanks to Kogias in the comment, and then we also had Little Blue, but he was just commenting on the thumbnail, but just give him a shout out. All right, Dragon, take us out.
The Justice League, near extinct, Neo Gotham turned collector's paradise. Batman in stereo. Can Batman and Green Lantern stop Kronos before he does irrevocable damage to the space time continuum? Will the DCAU cease to exist as we know it? Tune in next time to find out. Same animated bat time, same animated bat place.
On the next visit to Batcave Beyond with Time Warped. Let's do the time warp again.